Safety fundamentals. Identify hazard, assess hazards, make risk decisions, implement controls, supervise. Define high-risk course. Evaluated probability of loss or an increased level of severity is likely or imminent. Discuss what type of courses are considered high risk. Environment, which exposes the crew, staff, students, and/or assist to the potential risk of death, pertainment, disability, or loss during training. Discuss the differences between these types of courses. Voluntary, ability to drop on request. Involuntary, a session following on training, especially skill school. Discuss what drop on request DOR is and the procedures for conducting one. When a student is a voluntary, as identified by reference G, high-risk training course desires to quit or DOR, immediately and expeditiously removed from the training area, entered in the student service record. Discuss what training timeout is and the procedures to conducting one. In any situation when student or instructors express concern for personnel safety or a need to clarify procedures or requirements, they shall call a TTO. Discuss the purpose of emergency action plan and how often it must be reviewed for accuracy of information. The EAP should be a simple checklist or sequential list of responses of expedited and immediate actions by personnel to conduct. Redo that. The EAP should be a simple checklist or sequential list of responses of expected and immediate actions by personnel in control of the event to aid and extract mishap victims from the scene. They are conducted quarterly, procedural walkthroughs, and fully exercise and validate emergency action plans annually. Core Unique Instructor Training. QIT is designed to prepare the instructor to teach a high-risk course. Instructor Fundamentals, NAVATRA 134 and 135. State the purpose of the Navy training system. The purpose of the Navy training system is to ensure a systematic approach for determining what to train and how best to accomplish that training. Define the most essential single link in the training chain, the instructor. State and discuss the three qualities of an efficient and effective instructor. KAP, knowledge, ability, personality. List and discuss the four principles of John Keller's model of motivational theory. ARCS, ARCS, attention, relevance, confidence, satisfaction. List and discuss the key principles of applying motivational theory in a training situation. NAVI, NAAVII, needs and drives, attitudes, achievements, values, interest, incentives. State the ultimate goal of instruction. Motivate beyond the instructor's influence. State and discuss the 6 laws of learning, REAPER, REEPIR, readiness, exercise, effect, primacy, intensity, and recency. State and discuss 5 ways of learning, ATITI, ATITI, association, trial and error, imitation, transfer, and insight. State and discuss the types of sensory learners: visual, audio, kinesthetic. State and discuss the 4 basic learning styles: CARA, C-A-R-A, concrete learners, active learners, reflective learners, abstract learners. Discuss the barriers to effective communication: lack of common core experience, Overuse of Babasisms, fear, and environmental factors. Describe 6 factors that must be considered in planning instructional theory. AGRPF. AGRPIF. Articulation, grammar, rate of speech, pauses, inflections, and force of delivery. State and discuss the 4 purposes of oral questions. FADS. FADS. Focuses, arouses, drills, and stimulates. State and discuss the characteristics of a good oral question. Clarity of meaning, level of instruction, use of an interrogative. Discuss the types and purpose of oral questions. FMYCLIT. FMYCLIT. Multiple answers, yes, no, canvassing, leading, interest arousing, factual question, and thought provoking. State the 5 steps of the 5-step questioning technique. APPLE. APPLE. Ask, pause, pick, listen, emphasize. List and discuss the different instructional methods. LLDRTG. Lecture, lecture with audio visuals, lesson, demonstration, role-playing, team-dimensional training, game, and simulation. State and discuss the 3 parts of a learning objective. BCS. Behavior, condition, standard. Discuss the 2 methods of testing and their importance. Knowledge and performance. Explain the 5 learning levels a knowledge test item may test. RRCAA. Recognition, recall, comprehension, application, and analysis, evaluation. Discuss the different types of performance test. You have product, process, combination. School management, Navatra 135. List the responsibility of each of the following members of the training organization structure. OpNav provides policy for implementing and supporting strategic goals. NetC meets strategic goals. Learning centers continuously monitor the quality of curriculum, instruction, and evaluation functions. Learning Standards Officer, or LSO. They are to ensure the quality of training. Course Curriculum Model Manager, C²M². Responsibility for developing, revising, and maintaining a course of instruction. Discuss the purpose of the Catalog of Navy Training, CANTRAX. Publication of general information on all training activities and course descriptions. Discuss the functionality of corporate enterprise and training resource activity systems, CTARS. Navy-wide automated information system designed to manage and support the Navy training effort. Discuss the use of a course identification number, SIN, unique number identifying a formal Navy course. Discuss the use of a course data processing code, CDP, assigned to uniquely identify each course of instruction and its location. Discuss who is responsible for ensuring accuracy of data with CTARS. Course supervisor. Discuss relationship between CTARS and CANTRAX. CTARS automatically updates and feeds CANTRAX. Describe the A, C, and F types courses of instruction. A school. An NEC will not normally be awarded, and it's the basic knowledge or skills required. C school. Advanced specialized knowledge, course completion awards an NEC. F school. Fundamental skill, no NEC rewarded. Discuss what a personal event code PVET is and where it is found and entered. Student status and CTARs. Discuss when an academic review board ARB may be convened. When all other means of academic counseling, remediation, and an initial academic setback have failed to improve students' performance. Describe the evaluation of instructor in laboratory, classroom, facilitated environments. Instructor teaching in class and lab will be evaluated in both environments. Discuss the importance of formal course review, FCRs, and audit trails. Evaluate the course material for technical accuracy and teachability. Identify the required periodicity of conducting FCRs per current NEC guidance. Annual, biannual, triennial cycle as determined by the CCA. In no case shall the formal course review cycle exceed 3 years. Training requirement, NAVATRA 133 Alpha, NAVATRA 135. State the purpose of a training requirement review, TRR. To validate training requirements and identify new training requirements. State the periodicity of conducting a TRR. Conducted on Learning Center courses of instruction within 60-month cycle unless triggered event occurs requiring more frequency. State the roles and responsibilities of the following for the TRR process, implementation, and execution. Navy Education Training Command, NETC, they provide policy and guidance. NETC N7 provides oversight of policy and guidance. Learning Center Commanding Officer serves as the CCA. Learning Center Learning Standards Officer manages the TRR process, provides guidance and assistance, drafts schedules, messages, manages TRR and MNP website. State the 4 triggers to conduct a TRR. RFCC. Request by required sponsor, fleet feedback, course surveillance, curriculum control authority directed, the CCA. State and describe 4 TRR messages. Annual TRR schedule message. So the annual is 30 days. TRR announcement message. The announcement is 90 days. TRR agenda message. The agenda is 60 days. And TRR action chip message. The action is the date completed. Explain the correlation of a formal course review, FCR, and the TRR process. FCR serves to validate the TRR. List the 3 forms of acceptable actions from a resource sponsor identifying the commitment of resources to validate training requirement. You have your naval message, command letterhead letter, digitally signed email. Occupational standards or STDs, I don't know. Discuss the purpose of occupational standards. Minimum skill required of Navy enlisted ratings. List the primary bases for which OC standards are used. MADT, MADT, manning, distribution, training, and advancement. Explain where the remaining E4 and below occupational standards that are not selected to be taught in a school should be taught in which other training environments. Onboard training or on-the-job training. Explain each role as it pertains to occupational standards. Office of the Chief of Naval Operations, OPNAV. Review and approve occupational standards per OPNAVIS 1223.1. Resource sponsors, Review and approve the TTA Training Task Analysis Report. Fleet and Type Commanders ensure participation in the Navy Skills Management System, SMS, and the appropriate NTRR event. Also, review proposed OC standards for validity and pay grade responsibility. Navy Manpower Analysis Center, NAVMAC. Ensure SMS surveys are conducted and occupational standards are issued in a timely manner and coordinated with an appropriate NTRR event schedule. Navy Education Training Command, NETC. Develop and implement training to meet the needs of the welfare sponsors utilizing occupational standards as training objectives in the preparation of TTA curricula and feedback systems. Training validation, NAVATRA 137. State the purpose of the Job Duty Task Analysis, JDTA. To establish a repeatable and defendable job analysis process of developing or revising training content development or revision in order to satisfy fleet training. State the roles and responsibilities of the following for the JDTA process, implementation, and execution. Navy Education Training Command, NETC, provides policy and guidance for the NETC JDTA process. NETC N7 provides oversight of policy and guidance. Learning Center's Commanding Officer serves as CCA. Stakeholders provide technical documentation, participates in JDTA. List the external triggers to perform a JDTA, acronyms NOFDA. NTSP revision, ORM assessment, fleet performance assessment, direct fleet input, TRR. List the internal triggers to perform a JDTA, acronym RRE. Revision to enlisted occupational standard, rating merger, establishment or revision of an NEC. Explain a targeted JDTA. Perform on specific portions with a course. Insufficient course data exists. A mishap occurs or as directed by higher authority. Explain the structure of work. Occupation, job, duty, task, subtask, step. Front-end analysis, FEA. State the purpose of front-end analysis. To establish a defendable and repeatable process to determine the best training and media delivery methods to satisfy training requirements. When is a FEA performed? After the JDA has been conducted. Listed triggers of an FEA. So first three are internal. It's revision to fleet requirement, revision to enlisted occupational standards, and a new system not addressed in the acquisition process. The next ones are external. Fleet feedback, formal course review, establishment or de-establishment or revision of a NEC, rating merger, as directed by the Curriculum Control Authority or CCA, training requirement review, TRR. Identify who determines what curriculum development model will be used for curriculum modification within your learning environment. Curriculum Control Authority, LSO. Explain the approval process of the finalized FEA. Approval requests to the required sponsors and receive the requirements sponsor approval. Business case study, BCA. State the purpose of a business case study. Structured methodology to facilitate its decision-making process. Explain the purpose of the executive summary of a BCA. Summary of the key highlights of the business case. Explain what analysis of alternatives does. Outlines the realm of possibilities and provides a detailed description of a viable options, including a do-nothing option. Discuss risk assessment and decision-making of a BCA. Initiative and how risks vary by viable alternatives. Explain how cost-benefit impacts a BCA. Understand and compare the initial and ongoing expenditures to financial and non-financial benefits. Explain the final stages of a BCA. Conclusions and recommendations, implementation strategy, review, and approval. Testing, NAVATRA 132. State the purpose of a testing program. To ensure a quality testing process. State the roles and responsibilities of the following for an effective testing program. Navy Education Training Command. Testing policy and guidance. Navy Education Training Command N7. Testing policy and guidance oversight and monitors compliance by centers. Learning Centers Learning Standards Officer. Provides guidance to curriculum developers on testing. Course Curriculum Model Manager, C² M², approves test design, maintains master test item bank. Course Supervisor ensures, monitors, and validates admin, security, and test item analysis. Define the following test. Formal. Test is graded. Informal. May or not be graded. Define the 3 levels of proficiency levels contained within each. Skill, imitation, repetition, habit, knowledge. Knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, and sustenance, evaluation. Whatever. List the 5 categories for performance and knowledge test. PPCOQ. Pretest, progress test, comprehensive test, oral test, and quiz. Describe the use of each test instrument as they relate to knowledge and performance test. A job sheet is a step-by-step performance of a practical task. A problem sheet. Problems required analysis and decision making. Assignment sheet. Direct to study or homework efforts of trainee. Multiple choice. Most versatile of all knowledge tests. True or false. Provides only 2 answers. What are 2 types of testing methods used in testing? Criterion reference test assesses whether required levels of skill or knowledge is met. Norm referenced estimates individual skill or knowledge in relation to a group norm, i.e. Navy advancement exams. Identify the 10 sections of a test plan. Course data, course roles and responsibilities, course waivers, test development, test administration, course test and test types, grading criteria, remediation, test and test item analysis, documentation. State the purpose of the test and test item analysis to determine statistical validity. Discuss the three methods of remediation available to instructors. You have targeted, scalable, intuitive. Define the following sections of remediation program. 5 sections. We have a retest, a setback, a drop from training or trites, counseling, and an academic review board. ARBs will be convened when other means of academic counseling, remediation, and initial academic setback have failed to improve trainees' performance. Personnel Qualification Standards, PQS. What role does Navy education and training professional development and technology serve to the PQS program? Maintains and ensures PQS availability to the fleet. Identify the location where PQSs are maintained and available for fleet use in the Navy PQS portal. Explain the function of a PQS. Qualification systems for officers and enlisted personnel where certifications of a minimum level of competency is required prior to qualifying to perform specific duties. Explain the difference between a PQS and a job qualification requirement, JQR. PQS is qualification requirements among multiple platforms. JQRs are used for a single platform. Non-resident training courses, NRTC. What role does Navy Education and Training Professional Development and Technology Centers serve to NRTC? Maintains, grades, and enters completed non-resident training courses into Sailor's Electronic Service Record, ESR. What is the primary purpose of NRTC? Self-study package designed to help a student study Navy professional or military knowledge in preparation for an advancement exam. What impact does a NRTC have in the rating exam process? Obtains rating exam questions. Identify the location where NRTCs are maintained. It's on e-learning. NRTCs are assigned points. For whom are these points calculated and how does it benefit these personnel? Reservists receive points which are used towards retirement as well as evaluations, evals. Acquisitions. What does the Navy Training System Requirement Acquisitions and Management provides? PDD for MPD. Planning, determining, and documenting manpower, personnel, and training, MPT, requirement for the Navy. How many acquisitions categories ACAT does the NTSP process govern? There's 4. ACAT 1 through ACAT 4. List and describe the 5 gates thresholds for NTSP submittal. 6 years. Prior to training system, initial operational capability of military construction is required. 3 years prior to IOC, if a major defense acquisition program or a major system Cat 1 or 2 training device TD reaches development, test, and evaluation. 3 years prior to IOC major defense acquisition program or major system follow-on TDs prior to initial operational test and evaluation, operational evaluations. And 3 months prior to IOC for rapid acquisition programs. Explain the roles and responsibilities for each. Deputy Chief of Navy Operations. Validate impact and equates of acquisitions. Director, Total Force Requirement Division. Validate preliminary ship squadron manpower documents and coordinate programming. OpNav N15. Validate individual training requirements. Director, Fleet Readiness Division. Provide fleet readiness training resource and oversight. Resource sponsors. Plan, program, fund requirements for design, develop, procurement, engineering change, and monetization of the training system. Training and reporting. State the purpose of Impaired Training and Education Report, ITIR, policy and reporting procedures. Reporting conditions that may reduce the ability to train and or educate personnel. List the end codes within NCG that the learning centers shall address. And 1, total force manpower. And 4, facilitates and logistics. And 6, chief information officer. And 7, learning and development. And 8, resources, requirements, and assessments. Explain ITIR conditions, red and yellow. Red, a situation that currently exists which cancels or stops training. Yellow, a situation that may result in delayed or canceled classes. Think of a stoplight. List the 6 ITIR types: personnel, equipment, facilities, curricula, ammunition, corrections. List 3 ITIR categories: initial, update, COR. Define a missed training opportunity, MTO. The loss of a course quota by a command. List 5 examples of a MTO. A command has a quota for a student who does not report. A command cancels a guaranteed quota in 4 or fewer working days prior. A student does not meet course prerequisites. A student is absent from the course of instruction to the extent that he or she cannot obtain credit. A student cannot obtain credit for the course of instruction due to command recall of the student. Who has a responsibility to report a missed training opportunity? TSCs, TSDs will submit MTO reports. How often is the MTO data gathered, and in what format is the data sent? Weekly MTO reports via Navy message. Authorizing instructional material, AIM, NAVATRA 130, NAVATRA 131. Describe the purpose of authorizing instructional material. AIM is a computer-based training material authorizing tool developed by the Navy. Online version of PADI. Discuss how AIM ensures training materials and development and revised per prescribed specifications and guidelines. Provides automated conformance to standards NAVATRA 130A and 131A, resulting in efficient, cost-effective development. Discuss which AIM tool supports the following. AIM 2 is task-based curriculum development, and AIM 1 is PPP-based curriculum. Content Planning Module, CPM. State the purpose of the Content Planning Module, CPM. To document and map Navy Job Duty Task Analysis, JDTA. Name the 4 primary areas within CPM. Home area, JDT area, projects area, and reports. Identify the primary input and discuss the use of CPM. Validate JDA performance requirements. Integrated Learning Environment, NAVATRA 136. Discuss and describe the forms of training methods ILE supports. Instructor-led, facilitated, and computer-based. Discuss what Navy e-learning provides to its customers. Provides education and training anytime, anywhere in the world. Describe the training received through Navy e-learning within the ILE. Formal, informal, GMT, NMT, or prerequisite training. Discuss the 12 content processing phases. Just know there are 12. You have announced, submitted, received, Navy learning review, return, sponsor review, approved, on hold, hosted A school, hosted non-standard, and retired. Discuss government content acceptance training, GCAT. Process of SMEs within the Navy e-learning test of a course. CTARS, Cantrans, and Enters. Explain the functionality of CTARS II menu. Allows the users to view the Form 51 of a course. CTARS Monitor. Allows user to course overview, student activity, quality assurance, and metrics. Explain what a training officer or sailor can do in Enters. View and request seats. Data gathered in CTARS can be exported in what forms? Excel, Word, or a PDF?